Peace. Happy now. I was a vibrate, of course. And just caught a download while walking by this little school downtown in Baton Rouge. That's back for y'all. And matter of fact, I caught the download. Now, before I even get into this, you have the right to not believe anything that I say. Because with my downloads, that's a download, that's intuition, and with psychic things, it doesn't have paperwork necessarily, to follow it up. But it really kind of does when I think about it. But in essence, I caught the vibe that, Baton Rouge, reason why for sure Baton Rouge and Opelousas, why I gravitate, like being born in Opelousas and being in Baton Rouge and seeing the strong connection, of the indigenous culture, down to Zydeco music being created in Opelousas, stuff like that. And then I thought about Baton Rouge having, one of the first big, quote unquote, black colleges, African American, whatever them little terminologies that they make to make us separate each other. In fact, should have black people separating from each other. It's like, oh, I'm African American, I'm African this and that, no, I'm Asian this and that, I'm this and that, whatever. But because matter of fact, a part of being, God energy is being all. It's again integration and not a balance. Like, oh, let me be like this most of the time. Like, nah, I'm all of this. I'm in a melanated bodysuit, but I'm also all things around me as well. You know what I'm saying? But long story short, I caught the vibe that Albert Pike. So Albert Pike, if y'all not familiar with Albert Pike, go research him, look him up. He was a master mason, and AKA the leader of the, the Confederacy, or one of the leaders of the Confederacy. And, with occult knowledge, I thought about, not only the reason why, because now I'm starting to see it, like, man, Baton Rouge, like, when I think about, like, the drop-off from, like, when you ask Southern, the drop-off from, like, the river, to up there on the bluff, it's like, damn, either Baton Rouge used to have some mountains and shit, or it was very, very hilly land, like, and almost of a, a high altitude in essence compared to other places as far as like going up and down. Now, of course, in the higher areas of Louisiana, it's going to be higher elevation, of course, get close to Arkansas, stuff like that. But like to say how far we are to the south and close to a river, in which it would make sense that you make your land high, but it's like from more so by Southern, but towards this way, it's like most of the land is kind of very high. But again, I caught the download that Albert Pike, knowing about these different ley lines and energies. So a lot of people don't know, Opelousas, the city that I'm from, was the state capital at one time. Matter of fact, during the Civil War. So and matter of fact, I just pictured in my head like shit going on. It's like, hey, they coming down on us in Baton Rouge and New Orleans. We gotta find a different little spot to move our capital to. Where could we move it? And then Albert Pike, let me check the ley lines. Let me see where the energy could benefit us in this battle at. Oh, Opelousas, man. There's a lot of indigenous energy around there, a lot of mounds and, and indigenous energy around there. Let's go there, And so in the midst of the battle, that's why, it's like, all right, we got to go somewhere else, but where could we go? Another place where the ley line's strong at. When I look at, Opelousas, the culture, is thick around there, Again, of course, you got the people, which that's just the case for Louisiana, everybody, basically things never really change, the chains got taken off everybody, but most melanated people don't know that they're still following indoctrination from, from the people who enslaved them, So it's like, still that vibe in essence, but, the companionship and the vibe of, matter of fact, the carbon, because which carbon, melanin, is word magic, whatever, but, the carbon beings, the highly carbonated beings, that energy resonates strongly in Opelousas. And again, I look at Baton Rouge, because Baton Rouge, just looking at the fact of how, you know, in the south, in the bottom, shout out to Lil Boosie, but in the bottom, like close by LSU, there's not really any buffer zone between the hood and LSU, because people, that energy of the ancestors, you know, letting people know better than to sell their property, you know what I'm saying? You know, because again, it's like the same thing from the Pilgrims, but just, you know, again, different euphemisms. So instead of raping and pillaging, you know, gentrification, in which when gentrification comes through, it's not raping and pillaging. Of course, again, it's more so raping and pillaging your mind now, you know what I'm saying, more than your body, you know, because with the gentrification of your neighborhood, that is, you know, pushing out your family, culture, your roots, you know. And again, they do have that aspect. I done spoke on that before, you know. Gentrification does have everything. It has its benefits, its pros and cons, everything. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, say when I got popped with that crack and caught that charge, yeah, that experience was bad, but it also opened me up to change my life and do something different. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, the gentrification vibes could bring through a Whole Foods and crystal shops and stuff like that. But it's that vibe of people who come through with the gentrification that treat the people in the neighborhood who they, you know, the neighborhood that they're trying to take over, in essence. They treat those people like they're not there or like they never existed, you know, and that's the vibe where it's like, you know, it becomes obvious that, all right, they're not about like trying to necessarily help the area as much as they just trying to, you know, disband some people from their land, in essence. You know, Venice Beach. So, and two, I'm starting to see intuitively, like I just moved to these different places, you know. Again, you know, not being in the thoughts about it, just feeling the energy, you know, just like I felt this download about Albert Pike. You know, matter of fact, as I walk to the state capitol, I'm actually about to see if I could go to the top. Or like if they got like some little touring thing going on right now. I never been, and be real with you, since I'm open intuitively, that's why I'm doing this, to see what downloads I get as I'm walking in this area. Just like walking past that school just now and caught that download about Albert Pike moving the state capitol to Opelousas because he knew the Leylines were strong out there as well. You know, I don't like to use the word Indian mounds because, you know, people not Indians. Christopher Columbus thought he was in India, you know, when he came. It's where it's like the Indians, you know. And not knowing that 400 years before Christopher Columbus was born, had some people from Ireland, even way before that, but the last trip was 400 years before Christopher Columbus was born, where certain people from Mali was trading, you know, with what was said to be the Aztecs or the Mayans down in like the Central America area. So, you know, been traveling, but here it is, you know. There you go, Huey P. Long, or Huey P. Yeah, Huey P. Long. That statue. But yeah, you know, I'm catching that vibe strong. And two, is October, and it's the thing, follow your intuition, you know. Like being in October, the veil thin, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna feel connections from the ancestors. And remember, like when the ancestors talking to you, there's a lot of things that you've been programmed and taught by your slave master, that when the ancestors talk to you, you know, in your being, in your mind, sometimes it's gonna feel like, oh no, you know, that ain't. But it's just you being tied down to the system so strongly. You in essence scared to be, you know, your true soulful self because you're so locked down by what you was taught, you know. Matter of fact, yeah, can't be on the lockdown. But definitely, matter of fact, I already done did the video speaking on working with You know, the stones like azurite, lapis lazuli. Labradorite is another good one for the intuitive vibes. But yeah, in fact, old Arsenal Park, a place where I always be chilling at. Got the 4 Eagles. Yeah. In fact, I ain't never been here before. It's my first time. But just wanted to share that download at how you know, how strong the energy is in Louisiana, you know. In fact, again, it's no coincidence that the first 2 you know, black colleges in essence, you know, started in Louisiana. It's no coincidence, you know, that one of the people considered to be, you know, the voodoo queen, you know, was, you know, in Louisiana. Man, you know, it ain't just fishing and hunting going on out here and Mardi Gras and crawfish. There's more than that out here. You know, and that's why I catch the vibe too of not even really knowing if I'm meant to even go back to, or at least right now, to go back to Cali, because I see, you know, I'm feeling the vibe out here while I'm out here. Like the ancestors might want me to do some work out here, you know. Because honestly, it's too much, now I would have to connect with somebody from, you know, certain neighborhoods in Cali and stuff like that, because there's so many CIA agents out there, man, running around. It's crazy. Like, and what's funny, how people use the euphemism of, like, because that's a euphemism. A lot of people basically just want to say, like, bro, there's a lot of fucking federal agents and fucking fake shit going on around here. But everybody like, oh yeah, Hollywood, I mean, LA fast, huh? You know, this and that. And you could hear it in the subtlety of, like, where they probably had experience of, you know, dealing with that, you know, that vibe they got out there. And what's real too, as I'm bringing up all this, again, this is not to fearmonger yourself, and this is not to hate anybody. The CIA and all that is doing their job in this experience, you know what I'm saying? We just gotta do our part. They bringing the pressure, we gotta make a diamond out of ourselves, you know? Shine that light, remove that darkness. Again, on some Christ consciousness, love them for they know not what they do, you know. And as a more advanced, you know, being, you know, again, I have that understanding, you know, like on a human level, yeah, that's fucked up what they doing, and you know what I'm saying, of course, you know. But you know, and again, it's both experiences though. It's not, again, I'm not just a spirit, I'm also in a human body. So yeah, you know, you know, we want to enlighten in the most you know, beneficial way, you know, or the most positive manner, you know, possible, you know, again, because when you caught up in the same hate that the people, you know, who hating on you pushing, you know what I'm saying, then your vibration lowers and you're not able to, you know, ascend. And that's a fact. Like, you know, as much as, again, yeah, we're not turning the other cheek or anything, but you definitely don't want to always be paying attention to the negative aspects, you know, because again, you are creating more of it. You know, again, it's a balance. You know, law of attraction, what we focus on grows. So matter of fact, like me speaking on this is just to, you know, again, give the awareness, but not speaking on it in a manner that give power to somebody else. Like, I'm not harping on, you know, because say for instance, people like, oh, I ain't gonna use the terminology, this person always oppressing me, this person always oppressing. Well, since you're always talking about it like that, you're going to continue to be under the illusion that you are affected by that, because it's an illusion, you know. All you got to do is come out of the illusion and realize, you know, like, well, shit, this stuff never really did affect me, you know, come to think about it, you know. And of course it does, you know what I'm saying? So say, for instance, like, of course, you know, the neighborhoods got certain foods and stuff in it that's not healthy because of, you know, the governing that goes on around us. But for the most part, you know, in the happiness in your daily life, you know, and what you could achieve and accomplish, nothing is stopping you. You know, only your own mind is stopping you. And you have countless amount of examples in this world to go by that see that people that came out of some of the most hardest situations. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the people who are entertainers or stars are, you know, doing well for themselves as far as sustaining themselves, you know, on a substantial level, you know, because it's not about being rich, you know, just being able to sustain yourself and so much highly to a level of being able to take care of others as well, you know. But you know, them people been through stuff, you know, as well, you know. So to think like, oh well, it's this, is that, nah, you know, you just holding yourself down with all that. But you see, they make the jobs hard to get all that this and that, and law of attraction. What you focus on grows. And again, we're not trying to ignore, you know, we're not trying to completely ignore what's going on around us, you know, as far as like the negativity that's going on around us. We don't want to completely ignore it, but when acknowledging it, acknowledge it in a beneficial manner for the now, you know what I'm saying? Acknowledge it in a way that's gonna, you know, like, all right, you know, bring something to people instead of like, you know, basically just speaking on the negativity with no solutions, you know. Like if we're gonna bring up this negativity, then we're gonna bring it up with solutions. So, you know, as we say, for instance, we might go through the emotions of, you know, feeling some kind of way as we're going through it, but then, you know, we'll get to a place of like not being affected by actually speaking on it, because we're speaking on it again in a manner that's cleaning things up. Kind of like how I always tell people, you know, on a vibe where when we talking, I forgot. Can't go below. But to come back. But it was something. Then zapped out. It'll come back. But back to the last thing I remember. You know, not being fear-mongered or trolled by these situations, because again, when they doing stuff like, you know, shooting the Alton Sterling, like, you know, matter of fact, we out here, you know, like a shooting of Alton Sterling or something like that, you know, it's not for us to be trolled by it in a negative way, because that's what they, you know, they want you to be trolled by it in a manner where you so occupied by the negativity of it, you're not helping yourself to grow and actually fix the problem, you know. Like you in essence kind of dwelling in the problem and kind of, you know, and never really fix it, because you just all in this place of like, you know, again, focusing on it, so that becomes your everyday, like, oh yeah, they probably, you know, fuck that, and then the motherfucker probably try to shoot me or this and that. Like you end up again almost talking the stuff in existence for yourself, you know what I'm saying? So again, you know, we do want to have a certain awareness of what's going on. You know, we're not trying to be on the hippie vibe of ignoring everything. Let's go in the secluded area away from the, you know, away from the things that we came down here to fix. You know, in essence. And when I say came down here to fix, you know, we fix ourselves first, and then, you know, it trickles out into the outer world, you know. But, you know, we call ourselves strong souls, strong beings, able to, you know, raise vibration, take this energy, but yet act as though you're a weakling, you know what I'm saying, and running away from things and hiding and stuff like that, you know, while this energy bosses everything around, you know. It's like, nah, you know, we gotta be, you know, gotta have activism, you know, and not in no again, in a manner that really, you know, is working towards helping the situation, instead of meditating, you know, doing something like that. Again, like I do video, like, you know, I ain't, of course, because what's real is I meditate every morning, and I meditate during the day, and I have visualization, so of course I'm visualizing, you know, the world I want to see. But I'm also doing the work. I'm also being inspired to do videos, to sit down and talk with people who trying to get into this information, and, you know, might even have to sit down with somebody that's going through some negativity, you know what I'm saying? Because again, you know, can't have no, you gotta keep positive people around you, this and that. And again, of course, you know, you're not trying to fall into negativity, but again, realizing, you know, it, all is you is a integration of energy, you know, and integration, and you can still say the word balance, but you know, like you know, those negative aspects of ourselves. I just caught a download that sometimes that's why it gets so hard to speak in certain areas with certain energies. I'm noticing I got chopped up. Everything was flowing good. Now it's like I don't know what kind of little waves they shoot now. But yeah, and see, that's another thing too. It's just a joke. Again, if anything's happening to me, is because I'm allowing it to happen. You know what I'm saying? Through my own, you know, what I believe in or focusing on, or you know, the fears, like all that, you know, is what manifests, you know, into people messing with you or doing you something, you know. And again, it's a balance, like that's the thing where people just, and that's why I keep kind of making sure, you know, I get that vibe, you know, where it's like, you know, it's Christ consciousness. You know, of course, we're not, you know, we showing love, we showing unconditional love, but it's not on a level of turning our cheek to somebody messing over us, you know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta, you know, take care of business in the best way possible, you know, in the most, you know, of course, our way of doing things is being as peaceful as peaceful as possible, but at the same time doing what we gotta do. Like, hey, I'm about peace, but if you slap me in my face, I'm gonna slap you back, you know. But in a sense of not doing it exactly how they do it, you know, because again, they want to see a physical, you know, because again, that's the domain of that energy, you know. It thrives more in the physical, you know. And of course, even though we have our physical body suits, we thrive more dealing with, you know, the higher energies, the high aspect of things, you know. So we're not trying to, you know, fight like in no army or, you know, no actual fight. Is more just, you know, just doing what you gotta do in your life spiritually. That's a part of the fight, because it's spiritual warfare, you know. Do what you gotta do on a spiritual level, because you know, again, it's you don't want to get caught up in the negativity of things, but you also don't want to find yourself hiding from things that you should be handling, just in the sake of, well, you know, this spiritual teacher said that I shouldn't deal with no negativity at all, you know. And again, yes, we get in our life to where, you know, to where we not dwelling in the negativity and stuff like this. But again, certain things that just needs to be worked on, and it's not going to get worked on through just, you know, visualizations. You know, visualizations help, but again, you know, just like the law of attraction, you know, we get our inspired, you know, we get our inspired energy from source, but then we act upon that energy, you know, and we act in a manner that's, you know, effective to get done what we're trying to get done, and not in a manner that doesn't give any results. You know, we see what playing the hippie game did. Not a damn thing, you know. Look around you, you know what I'm saying? How much peace did they bring, you know, to the situation? You know, maybe a vibe of like, hey, let's act like we don't see this. You know, they did do that. You know, matter of fact, bringing in that social engineering vibe. Hey, y'all, let's just all go take LSD and not pay attention to what's going on. You know, and again, not to just, I digress. I feel like I'm dragging this video on. So I'm gonna just stop right now. But again, the download though, Baton Rouge, them indigenous mounds, I bet you, again, probably the biggest mound, right in here, right under here, we sitting on one. And the whole vibe with, again, that's a download, psychic download. You don't have to, go with it. But again, I almost was seeing it too as I was talking with y'all. Like I could see Albert Pike. You know how they got like the picture of the Declaration of Independence with all of them with their little white wigs and high heels and, right. And then I could just see Albert Pike like this place here, Opelousas. What it is, Opelousas, with the black leg Indians, you know what I'm saying? Tribes, and look at me. See, programming. See how I program the black leg native indigenous people. The indigenous are the original peoples of the land, you know what I'm saying? The black, which is called the black legs, because that's what the word Opelousas stand for, if I'm not mistaken. But, Albert Pike was like, we're going to move the capital to right there. It's energies, Leylines, I'm pretty sure every state capital of every state is sitting on the ley line, Again, because they mimic the vibes of the tribal energy, as above, so below. In a village, you're going to have, so say for instance, the village will be in the shape of a circle. Or we're going to start from the microcosm. Within the village, they're going to have, the high priest or whatever, the person that connects with the energy and, and in essence governs things. That temple is going to be in the middle. That place is going to be in the middle. And say, for instance, if the homes or whatever they in is shaped like circles, then so say for instance, if the building they living in is shaped like a circle, then the whole tribe, so the circular buildings are going to be spread out in a circle, So again, like that fractal energy, like it's, the macrocosm into the microcosm, so so they're going to have circular homes in a circle, and then in the middle of that circle is going to be, the location of, that spiritual teacher, leader, in the middle, and his place of living is going to be circular. And then within there, in the middle of his place, is going to have a circular, altar, you know what I'm saying? So again, creating that fractality, or that golden mean ratio, within that area. And it's a proven fact, like with the geometries of certain things, by creating, that fractality, through position, whether like with crystal grids and all that, you know what I'm saying? It's like positioning things in a certain way, give off a certain energy, you know what I'm saying? Like, matter of fact, shout out to Dan Winter. Y'all go check out his work. Speaking on, plasma implosion and the torus field, and, basically it was something talking about, like, in order to, something with the torus field. I digress. But, you see, again, which I wonder about that. Because to say that I haven't smoked herb since yesterday, so yeah, in a day or two, and I'm having these little moments of, like, kind of forgetting what I'm saying in the moment. It's like, it shouldn't be. But hey, again, it's just me. But, and that's why I was talking about the fractality. So building things in that golden mean ratio, because it was something he was speaking on, like if you create that fractality, like in a garden or wherever you're growing things, the likelihood of, that plant thriving and flourishing, is going to be on a higher level, because it You know, it has the golden mean ratio of that energy, you know, that fractality energy embedded in it, you know. But I digress. Peace. Happy now. Now's the vibrate. Not too far in the future. Not too far in the past.